Hello everyone and welcome back. This is episode 2 of our sub-series of Meet Newport, Meet Newport School District. Today I am joined by Teddy Armstrong, the athletic secretary and attendance secretary at Newport High School. So Teddy, thank you for being here.
Sure.
Talk about where you grew up and when did you finally move out of your small town and where to?
Okay. So, grew up on a small farm in an area called St. John, Washington. It's south of Spokane, about an hour. On a wheat farm, we also had cows and sheep and a couple of horses. So I was really deep into farm life. I did 4-H for 9 years, mostly because I didn't want to join FFA because I'm extremely competitive and I didn't feel like I would have enough competition with the FFA people. So I remained in 4-H. And then I moved up to the Sandpoint area. My parents had a place up here. Moved up in '96. I don't know if you remember, that was the real bad year for ice. Yeah. Moved up here then, met my husband the following spring, and that was the spring where everything flooded and I had snow that was uber deep, and why I stuck around is beyond me, but married my husband and I'm still here, so.
Gotcha. So what kind of drove you to working into the Newport School District? How'd you get there? And you said that you've been at 2 out of the 3 schools, right? Haven't been at the middle school yet.
Correct.
And so what kind of brought you into the school district?
Well, I left my full-time job at Riley Creek way back when the kids were little, and I was looking for a part-time job, and I happened to see there was a 3.75-hour posting for Stratton Elementary secretary, and I was like, hey, I can totally do that. I applied, and here I am, 16 years later. In fact, I started when my daughter was in kindergarten, and my son was in 2nd grade, and you were in 4th grade.
And talk a little bit about your kids, who they are, where they are now, stuff like that.
So I have Angus Armstrong. He is working with his dad in the maintenance department. My husband, Scott, is the supervisor for maintenance, and Angus is the grounds guy. And my daughter, Maisie, got married last fall, and she is living in Spokane with her husband.
So they're both local. They're still around.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you could tell us some of like the highlights that you've really enjoyed working at the elementary school and the high school, both vice versa, whichever. Some of the highlights that you've had here.
So I loved working at the elementary school, and there was never a dull moment. I worked with the great Lori Stratton, which I couldn't have asked for a better partner. She, just to make things a little crazy, she couldn't do throw up, but she could do blood. And I couldn't do blood, mostly because I would scare the little kid that I was having to bandage up. So we decided she would do blood and I would do throw up. So that was all great and everything. People wondered how I was able to do the throw up, but it was fine. Anyway, that was far too much information. Just made us great partners, but the one thing I really liked about being at the elementary school was all of the cute little sayings that the little people say. Like, I still use the word hanitizer instead of hand sanitizer because it makes more sense. I mean, why didn't the adults name it that?
No, and I mean, that's actually a really good point because, we say secretary, and you're like, oh, a lot of people might not know. You guys actually really deal with everything. And you guys are really kind of what makes the school run properly, at least from my experience. So you guys are kind of a catch-all. So you do have to deal with a lot of those things. So what are some highlights about being at the high school? What's kind of different about the middle school? What are some of the highlights at the high school?
I love being able to be around the kids that I knew once upon a time when they were little, and seeing them turning into young adults and remembering their parents, which is great because like today I had a parent come in and I've seen her here and there, but out of nowhere her name popped into my brain and I was able to say, have a nice day, Elizabeth. Just silly stuff like that really makes me happy, that I can be kind and greet everybody. I love being the first person that people see when they come in the building because it keeps me having to smile. And there's not many bad days here. I will have to say there are moments when I do get stressed, but for the most part, it's great. And the kids are amazing. So it's just great.
Well, and for some of our viewers, that's actually one of the big reasons we wanted to interview is because when you come into the high school, Teddy's going to be the first face that you do see. And what is something that perhaps people don't know about your job and some of the extra stuff that you guys actually have to do that, people outside this building, even some teachers might be like, oh, the secretaries have to do that? What would be one of those jobs?
So I am the one who keeps the website updated. And we got a new system this year, and that was it's challenging trying to keep it updated because I'm still trying to learn how to post things on the website. So if there's any delays, sorry, I'm trying, but yeah, I'm trying to keep it together. But that's just one of the things that we do. When there's not a nurse around, we hand Band-Aids out left and right. Again, something that the kids can do on their own now. Don't have to tie their shoes. But it's there's lots of stuff that we do that people just don't think about. But the bosses know what we do, and they always tell everybody that we run the school, but that's not true.
Well, I think it's kind of true, but that's all right. Final thing, is there anything else that you'd kind of like to say to the community now that this is kind of going, outside the school a little bit? Is there any final thoughts that you have about the school or yourself or the community in general?
Not really. I'd just like to say, thanks for the opportunity of being a Newport School District employee because I was hired here, then my husband was hired here. We love it. I think this is the funnest job that I've had in all of my years working here. Mostly because, like I said, there's really no stress. It's, I don't take it home with me, and it's just a great place to be. I love my job.
All right, everyone, you got to know Teddy Armstrong a little bit. Thank you, Teddy, so much for doing this. If anyone sees Teddy after this, make sure to say hi and all that good stuff. So thank you, Teddy.
You're welcome, and go Grizz!